Welcome to Sweeping the Country one more time. The very special, Jimmy, and I mean this is the year-end edition of Sweeping the Country. This is big news.
Yeah, I'm all for 2023 hitting the road.
I am too, actually.
I
don't
have
know
no
why.
love for 2023. I mean, I just, it was just of a year to me.
Yeah, no.
And it just didn't do anything. I mean, it just, I feel like the whole country's in a malaise.
Is it fair to say that 2023 was vanilla?
I think, no, I like vanilla. In fact,
Well,
I had some vanilla bluebell ice cream the other day.
I like vanilla too, but there was no character. There was no.
I mean,
it's
just been a year of just bleh. I mean,
all right.
The summer was too hot. The weather's been kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
But the politics is just enough to make you want to just projectile vomit.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just so bad because I mean, and it just had a thing the other day I saw up here that the whatever number of Congress that this is was the historically least accomplished.
Yeah. Okay.
It didn't do anything. I mean, just didn't get anything done.
Yeah.
Barely just kept the lights on up there. Not to mention things with some of the staff is doing up there.
Oh, it's been wild.
That one where it was hanky panky.
Just somebody made a movie,
and it's just this the horrible things over. I'm so disappointed in the country. Some of the people in our country on how they're treating the whole subject of the Jews. I'm not a Jew. I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
But the fact that so many young people have anti-Semitic ways is just beyond me. It's terrible.
No, I don't disagree with you.
How that's going.
We've talked about this before, and I don't disagree at all. It's not something I've ever seen an example of until now. I mean, I really have not seen it.
We didn't live in the 40s when the Jews and the Germans, and all that stuff.
No, heck, we weren't even alive.
I know it's always been around, but it just has been shielded, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, maybe.
And then the other thing is this whole immigration deal. That is just the most pitiful subject.
I mean, but don't we all just know the right thing is there's only a limited amount of people we can let in. That's it. I mean, we have to manage that. I mean, we all know that.
It's just a subject that we just haven't had to fool with.
Yeah, I guess. I guess so.
It's come up every once in a while in my life, but nothing really a lot. But I mean, look at it now. These poor people being, streaming from other countries, and because they're so pitiful where they are, and they all want to be here. And the people who are in charge, whether it's Democrat or Republican, I don't know who's to blame, both maybe, that they're not doing their job.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Their job.
Yeah.
I mean, no one, I just can't, I have a hard time. If it's the same people that seem to hate the Jews, maybe it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
because maybe so. Right anyway.
It's funny because out of the two topics that we talked about is how little Congress is doing, how they're not doing their job, and then the people that are running, the laws at the border and stuff, they're not doing their job, which happens to be the folks that are representing us in Congress, right? And that whole group, again, nobody's doing anything, but they all know what the right answer is. They just can't do it, and I don't understand it. I don't understand.
I'm just so confused about, then in our business, the broadcasting business, it's got problems because it did not 30 years ago, 25 years ago, adapt to new technology.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the same people supposed to be in charge of all this other stuff. I mean, there's been changes in technology, forever. And you've seen it just this week that Ford and somebody else are backing off the electric vehicle to a point because they can see the consumer does not want it.
Yeah,
so
and at the end of
it can only go out so far, building saying that they're seeing no interest from the customer.
I had an interesting conversation since we're talking about that and talking about in general, gathering information and processing the right information, making the right decision. I had an interesting conversation with a 20-something who I'm training, and I said to him, where do you get your news? Because you and I have talked about this over and over many, many times. Yeah. And he looked at me, he said, everybody in our generation gets it from TikTok.
Yeah, might as well, let's go ahead and just all line up and leave because that's just, we're going to hell in a total handbasket.
It's very bizarre. It was bizarre to me. I'm not saying you can't get some good information from TikTok. Fine, you can. I'm sure you can. But
you can get good information screaming outside, to my neighbor and say, "Hey, Willie, right. What do you hear?" You're going to get some kind of information, but
exactly.
to just
okay, so we kiss 2023 goodbye. See ya, vamoose. Get out of here. What is 2024 about?
Now, I called up this stupid TikTok.
Yeah.
All right, some guy's talking about sales things.
Okay.
Then here's Andy Ruiz got his revenge on WW something other.
Oh, I'm glad about that.
Here's a person trying to sell me a product, and here's a person, somebody, a cop trying to arrest somebody, and then there's some kind of license registry. That's totally false.
That's
somebody doing that to get clicks?
Yeah. Do you feel like you got the right information in order to carry on with the day?
Sheriff arguing with state trooper. I'm sorry. That's bad. But again, like I've been told my whole life, and it's a good quote for the day. You can call the episode this: you can't unring a bell.
Boy, that's the truth. You can't.
And TikTok is here, whether any of us like it or not.
Yeah.
The chance of us cutting that thing off is between slim and none. But the fact that these are the same, go ahead and say, okay, TikTok's either great, you love it, it's fun, it makes
fine.
me laugh,
I don't have any problem with it. Yeah.
Whatever it is, I don't, that's just what it's just. I chose whether to waste 30 seconds of my life just in.
Yeah.
And I can get to it when I want to. But usually it's just nothing there. But the can't unring a bell thing is that you just garbage in, garbage out.
Boy, there's another saying. Yeah.
There is a desire for people, so many people, to stick their head in the ground and be ostriches.
Yeah.
I run into it all the time. They don't want to know that TikTok, look, the people that gave us TikTok, and these are people, and this is back to our government again.
Yep.
The government controls this stuff. They control the cell phone through the Federal Communication Commission. They control interstate commerce. They control, State Department controls a lot of stuff. They could shut a lot of things down if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But when they cut the internet, I'll explain this to me. There was a time when we were younger. I was a little older, but not much, when there was such a fear in our country of young people seeing a naked body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Whether if we saw it, they didn't seem to care if it was in National Geographic, which is where most of us saw our first naked body.
Yeah, that's true. Right on the cover.
Didn't care whether it was in Playboy or Penthouse or one of those smut magazines.
That's right.
They were called.
Oh yeah.
So they did everything they could to hide those, whether in a public place, even in Los Angeles, they held them when they had these outdoor magazine marts, downtown. They would group those things mostly together on the backside or somewhere, where we're just, my God, we've got to protect young people, children, nurses, doctors from seeing naked people. I don't know. Everybody's worried about naked people.
Yeah, you're right.
So the internet comes along, and man, there's people dating donkeys, and everything in the world is on there. Everything in the world is on there.
It is.
And there's been no effort at all to try to get that out.
No, Jimmy, you're missing. There's that huge effort where they try to stop you. It says, "Are you 18?" And if you're not 18 and you click that button, then nothing happens.
I don't even see that. But it's
they don't anymore. They really don't. Yeah.
It's the same people that run the immigration.
Ooh.
They just say it's okay to open the doors.
Yeah, it is the same people. It is. You're right.
It's the same people that say anything can be on the internet. It's competition. It's free speech.
Yeah.
It's all that stuff. So somewhere we just open the doors and let our minds out.
Yeah, you're right about that. I can't argue with that at all. And I'm not sure. I guess I could go back and blame the internet because, like you're talking about, the magazines that were so dirty, they were wrapped in plastic and had a black cover over. You couldn't see it.
But the day that people started getting any kind of speed, you couldn't really do anything on the internet when it was all that.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. That wasn't it. But as soon as we all got a little bit of speed, and they opened up the pornographic sites that were there, because they're always going where the money is.
Yeah.
Whether it was, the dirty little thing, the reason home video didn't exist 50 years ago.
No, you had 8mm movies. You had
we barely had television. Okay.
Yeah.
We barely had television.
Yeah.
So At some point, though, the Japanese came up with VHS, and they had beta. It was a competition
I remember that.
between two formats, and the VHS won. But the early people, the early adopters of VHS that helped it go forward were the people that were selling smut, the XXX movies.
Wow, I never knew that.
One of that opened up a whole world for people in suburbia who didn't want to go to these theaters on 42nd Street in New York, or in some town that was a XXX movie theater that you wouldn't get caught dead going in.
Yeah.
It opened up the door for suburbia to be able to see naked people
besides themselves,
that brought the boom of home video.
Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't even think of that, but you're right. I mean, that all makes sense. It makes perfect sense.
So that made it where it was more people that could do it behind closed doors and not see it. So later, when the internet came along, they really opened the doors. But the one thing they didn't do, they didn't even try to hide it behind the shelf. They left it in the room where every child in the world could go on there and almost by accident run into the worst things that any of us have ever seen.
I would agree with that. I would agree with it. It's a lot.
The people that just they have the people that are doing the immigration, just come on in, everybody do all this, everything you want to. People that don't want people to have police, the defunding of police, the people who don't want to put anybody behind bars or in jail for doing anything, the people that don't want to do the death penalty or anything because they think that's bad, and the people that just think they have no moral base.
But don't
you think it goes all back to that?
But don't you think those people in 20, 30, 40 years of doing this, they'll be afraid to live in their own world?
They are. Well, because those people, the people that sometimes are the gatekeepers, always live behind the gate.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
I like that.
They're always on top of the hill. They're the landed gentry, our movie stars and people like that. What's the first thing they do?
Oh, yeah.
Is they go get themselves an acre or two with the big fence around it and protect themselves with from physical to electronic shelter.
Yeah.
They get a private plane so they don't have to get on a plane with anybody else, but they'll up their money and they start giving more money to charity.
Yeah.
But the last thing they want to do is be a part of it.
That's interesting. But you're right. You're right 100%. I used to think about this with, building a wall, whether you metaphorically or you actually physically build a wall. I mean, we all have, you have it right now, I'm sure of it. We have it in the backyard. I got a fence. I put a fence around my yard. It's not because I don't want people to come in, although there are certain people I don't want to come in. But it's animals. It's all it's to keep something in. It's to keep something out. There's a lot of reasons why you would have a fence.
But the double point of all this is, as we go to the end of the year, is that we have reached an intersection, and I'm not sure how far we can go down the road past the intersection, where we have no moral compass in this country, where we have no one that's really trying to keep us from going right or wrong. No, somebody who it seems chaotic to me, whether it's the policy of oil and gas and climate change and whether all that's true or not or whatever, whether it's the fact that people don't go to church, or if they do go to church, they don't like labels on their church. They like, the First Church of Lampshades or whatever they call it.
Right, Pastafarians.
It's got to have a generic kind of thing to it.
Exactly.
And I hope that they're learning right from wrong in some of those places.
I got to ask you if you've seen this movie. My wife and I watched this movie the other night. We were watching Netflix, and it was Leave the World Behind, Leave the Earth Behind or something. Have you seen that advertised at all, the movie?
I know about it, and I've got a warning from a company that I work for that said, make sure you don't run that advertising, that trailer on the air, because they're using EAS tones.
Really?
In the commercials. And if you run that falsely, there's trouble.
Interesting.
Fine and everything else.
Interesting.
Yeah, watch the trailer has those tones.
I'm gonna watch it. Well, we watched the movie, and it was fine. It was neither here nor there. I won't tell you what the story is about. But
end of the world.
Yeah. The premise was there was some sort of EMP or radiation emitted, and all the self-driving cars drove to one place. All the airlines went to one spot on the radar and crashed, and just all the things that you would think would happen with something like that. but happened. But it really, and we watched it. My wife and I watched it, and then we both sat back and we're like, "Did you like it?" I kind of liked it, but one thing, it felt too real. It felt like
right.
Too real. Like this could really happen in the next
that could
2
really
years.
happen.
Yeah, and I don't know if I love that. I mean, I don't know if I love that. And
no, I mean, to me, that's not entertainment. To me, I mean, I watched in reverse order Beverly Hills Cop.
Very funny.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, very funny.
Watched it 3
Why'd you watch it backwards?
It just happened to be that's how it came up,
and it was still good going backwards, huh?
I mean, it was just how it was.
Yeah.
Watch this. Yeah. It was on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I watched them both, all 3, and I just thoroughly enjoyed it. It was mindless entertainment.
Yeah.
Which is a little mindless stuff is good, but I just fear that, I just know that we've had it so good in this country for so long, and yes, we've had some mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And had bad things that happened to us during the Civil War.
Yeah.
And in one of those decades, and we finally got through fighting the British.
Yeah.
After 100 years, and then fought among ourselves for the next 100 years, and then the next 100 years, we've kind of grown and gotten bigger. But people are seeing, wow, these people live pretty good over there, and they want what we got. So you see it coming from every angle, and I don't know.
It's got to worry you. It's got to worry you.
I'm very worried about our future. I really am.
I would agree with you. And in our lifetime, your lifetime, my lifetime, even my parents' lifetime, I think it's been pretty good in the U.S. of A., the good old U.S. of A. I mean, we've had our issues. We've had our wars on other soil. We've had our incidents here with 9/11 and some things like that. But overall, we have had it pretty. I mean, if you compare us to Venezuela or, if you want to go,
I mean, just
Russia or whatever.
Thing, my friends, we mentioned to each other all the time.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Last Friday night, I go see a friend of mine who does a gig, makes some money, makes some good extra money on it as an Elvis impersonator.
Heck yeah, why not?
So I saw him last year do it, and I said, I'm going to go watch him in Tuscaloosa do it again. So I did. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a fun, 60, 70 minutes of music. It sounded good.
Yeah.
He sounded good. Enjoyed it.
Excellent.
So it's over with, and I'm a little hungry. It's I missed lunch that night, so I was hungry at 9:30. So, okay, I'm going to run through this Arby's over here next to the interstate. So it's 9 something. So I ordered, and she said, we don't have any Coca-Cola. We're out of soft drink. And I said,
wow.
Well, all right. That kind of limits what you're going to drink. I said, did you have, because I ordered a roast beef and maybe apple pie. I said, do you have an apple turnover? No, we're out of those now. I said, just forget it. Yeah. And I drove off.
Did you really?
I mean, it's just been, I don't have these people that have these fast food places. I think doesn't it cost you, if you want to go, me and you open a McDonald's or something like that, it's well over $1 million.
Oh yeah, definitely. Even some of the cheaper places,
multi-million-dollar investments that people have turned over to just the people that have no work ethic, can't remember to order the Cokes this week. I mean, how they keep these places open is that people say it all the time. We've become a third world country. Daughter has a problem with her new, I'm not going to bust the car out, new automobile.
Yeah.
And so takes it. She doesn't know anything about doing this. She's never had a new car.
Mm-hmm.
And dad's always kind of police the vehicles, make sure. Take it here, go there, we'll do this. She was going to handle all that. So bottom line of that is she goes into the dealer that she found, and they can't even look at it for 5 or 6 days. Can't even look at it. Have nobody to even look at it for 5 or 6 days.
Yeah.
And I hit the ceiling and I found out that's pretty much right. All over. Nobody has any mechanics, that work on anything. It's such an occupation you can make 6 figures on, but nobody wants to work and nobody wants to get their hands dirty. They want to play games and do that. So it's just, we've become a third world country.
Really I had an interesting.
Try to get something worked on in this country.
Yeah.
Try it.
Yeah.
That involves working on your refrigerator, working on anything. It's hard to do.
It is hard to do. And you brought up a good point. We just had an experience where we took our car in and it's under warranty. It's newer. And so we took it in and we said, here's the problem we're having. And we get a call back after we ordered tires and they forgot to order them. So we got no new tires. They just said, it's going to be another week before the tires. Sorry, we screwed up. that's fine. I took that. And I said, what about this problem with the battery? And they said, well, it's going to cost $175 if you want us to diagnose that. And I said, well, it's the battery. It's still, no, we have to diagnose it. Well, it's still under warranty. Why am I having to pay you to go through the car when it's under warranty? And we had a little bit of an argument. It took about 30 minutes. And finally, they decided that they would go ahead and check it out without charging us. And I just thought, and it's because I'm talking to the wrong person, right? They don't understand what the customer service is all about. You don't buy a car these days for $10,000. You buy a car now, you're driving trucks. You buy a truck, it's $60,000 to $80,000, maybe more, for a new truck. You're paying a lot of money. It's almost a small house. And so when you don't get the service after doling out that kind of money, it's a little hard to swallow. It really is. But that's the society we're in.
So anybody still listening to us, bitch, you're just
they're yelling.
I am just, it's just, I'm 50 weeks into a year that I'm exhausted from.
Okay, so let's turn the page. Let's turn it into 24.
So what are we going to do about it?
Yeah.
And look what we're coming up on a very political year.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited.
Is the system broken? How do we fix it? We are not going to fix what's broken with two 80-year-old men.
Why is that all we have to choose from? Why are there
all we seem to have? That's it. Because somehow the system is so screwed up that it's either Trump or Biden when we don't need either one of those people. I'm sorry. But on the other hand, don't make a mistake of this. This is how some of you who are smart people will make a mistake. Don't throw your hand into a third-party candidate, because all that does is get your person will lose. They've got no chance, and you're going to be even more unhappy because you're going to be backing a horse, and you're even going to be more 6 feet under. So you've got to make one or the other on the Republican or the Democratic side see your point of view. And maybe it's too late. Maybe it's not. I thought I saw a candidate and listened to this candidate this week. I won't say who it is yet, but I like. And the candidate made one point of saying, and one thing we've got to do is get vocational education back in our schools.
I don't disagree with that. I do not disagree with that at all.
We've got to do. I mean, the people cannot continue to go to college, get whatever you're getting in debt for a liberal arts education.
Yeah.
And you majored in basket weaving or 19th century luggage.
And on top of that, we'll have nobody who knows how to weld, or we'll have nobody that knows how to do these things that are becoming lost arts, Jimmy. They are. I mean, they are getting the people that do that right now, that learn that become certified in any of those things, are going to make so much money in the future. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It really is. But I think you're right. I will do this. Since we're doing our year-end episode, and we've done a lot of griping about 2023, and we're, don't let it hit you on the butt when you get out, kind of thing. We're done with it. In 2023, what are some things we can look forward to? What can we do in a positive way? I mean, obviously, we vote for the candidate we want to vote. It's an election year, so that part's going to suck. But we vote for the people we want. Can we just say we're going to have hope? Can we have hope? Because
I just say you can't have hope until you have awareness of what is happening.
Fair.
So I think
all right.
We've done it. I tried to is make you aware that people have let us down,
mm-hmm.
who we have put too much control and faith in, and that we need to take control of the vehicle a little bit more,
mm-hmm.
and we need to do a better job of teaching our children what is right and wrong,
mm-hmm.
And showing guidance to people that are younger than we are, and just try to figure out a way to reset, what is the greatest country in the world. And if we continue to have an open door policy on everything we have, from TikTok to no journalism, no newspapers,
mm-hmm.
To be able to make a check on people, we're just gonna. It's not gonna be very pretty.
Yeah, no more self-driving country. We need to have somebody at the wheel, and I agree with you wholeheartedly.
We need to have someone that's not just possessed with whatever they're possessed with, but it's just we got to get our stuff together.
Yeah, I like to think of having passion for the country we live in, right? I mean, recognize.
Well, yeah, I mean, the whole fact that patriotism is gone,
it's very minimized right now, and I think about that all the time. I mean, the vehicle I drive around in, you've seen it.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, I wonder what people think. Do they think I'm some kind of crazy Yahoo? And I'm not, but I shouldn't have to feel that way about having a flag on the hood of my car. And I don't mean draped over it. It's actually part of the paint job. But this is the country we live in. I'm proud of this country. I'm happy to live in this country. I love this country. I know you do too. We all have had a good life in this country. Let's keep that going.
Yeah, but we're not going to do it with just this complete wacky, anything goes attitude. In our government of where, I don't understand. We need answers. Yeah. And there are smart people. We can go to the moon. We can do anything.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. I would agree with you on that.
So we need to fix this homeless issue that's in our country. Mm-hmm. We need to fix, these people who are trying to kill us all, whether they're Chinese, mm-hmm. Or Russian or whoever they might be. We need to put that in order. We need to get our stuff together, or the bully on the block is going to take away our toys, and we're going to be very unhappy people.
That's going to do it for us in 2023. We're going to say goodbye, but we'll be back.
Sorry that it has to end that way, but that's just, if it was happy, I don't see how anybody could leave unless you're a Taylor Swift. My God, has it been a great year for her.
And Travis Kelce. Let's put that in there.
Travis Kelce, I guess. And it's been
well, maybe some people get all the good luck. I don't know, but they've had some of that.
Put ourselves in the transfer portal and bring us back.
And get to the college where we belong, and doggone it, make a couple $1 million while we're doing it.
That's right.
Hey, Jimmy, listen, anyway. have a good holiday, Christmas. I know you're celebrating that with your family, and a Happy New Year, and we'll check back in the first week of January.
I'm going down to the border and watch TikTok.
Hey, get your teeth worked on while you're there. I understand it's pretty cheap.
Oh, yeah, I do dental by the people that work out of their trunk.
Until next time on Sweeping the Country. Until next year on Sweeping the Country. I'm Derek Walker. He is
Jimmy Carr.
Good day.